it's Kathleen. Today we're going to make one of my all-time favorite vegan dishes, Thai pineapple fried rice. And this is from the Cookie and Kate blog, and she actually just came out with an app today, so you could also look it up on her new app. So the first thing we're going to do is to cook our rice, okay? And we use this 12-pound bag of short grain brown organic rice from Lundberg's, and it's available at Costco. And I use a rice cooker. You can cook it any way you want, but this is just so easy. If you don't have a rice cooker yet, I highly recommend getting one. So you're going to get a scoop with your rice cooker, and it's not the same as a measuring cup. So I do 2 scoops of brown rice in my rice cooker, and then 4 scoops of water. Plug it in, push the start button, which I already did. I've already pre-cooked our rice. And for brown, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes. White rice only takes about 20. But the brown takes a little longer. So once you get that started, then you can move on to cutting up your fruits and vegetables. So next we're going to chop up this beautiful pineapple, and my husband Wade is going to show you how, because he has his own special technique. Thank you, Wade.
So pineapples, buying them, first of all, you know, is it ripe, is it too ripe, or not ripe enough? Well, the cool thing is that you can buy it totally green and it will ripen. So once you get used to buying pineapples, we usually get ours at Costco. They're usually a little bigger, a little cheaper. They're typically very green. They usually ripen within 3 or 4 days when you get them from Costco. One way you can tell if it's ripe or not is by pulling the leaf. If the leaf comes out easily, that's never really worked for me. I've really mostly gone by color. So they'll be really green on the outside. This one's actually got some coloring around the bottom, and you can see the rest of it starting to turn that tan beige brown as well. Anyway, I know this is going to be ripe. You just want to make sure it doesn't have any soft spots if you're buying it when it's already this ripe, because that soft spot means it's already going bad. So for cutting a pineapple, we usually just cut the top right off and then spin it around, cut the bottom right off. You want a pretty sharp, good sized knife to be able to do that. The bottom is usually what ripens first, so you want to look at it and make sure there aren't any soft spots or spots that look like they've gone bad. If they've gone bad, don't worry about it. You can cut those out and it'll still be a delicious pineapple. So what I do is I start from the top and I work my way around the pineapple, cutting off just enough to get rid of the rind, and I try not to cut away too much pineapple of the actual fruit. But pineapple's actually pretty affordable. This is only $3 at Costco for a large one. So if you compare that to like mangoes or something like that, exotic tropical fruits, pineapple pound for pound is pretty cheap. So if you've gone around and cut it off and you've noticed that you've still got some rind on it, you might have that on the bottom, just kind of go around, do a little cleanup around the bottom. Like I said, if you cut the bottom off, you'll have a nice flat surface so you can just stand it up. There's a little bad spot, you want to get rid of that. And I'm just kind of dumping some of the rind. So then I also quarter it. So I'll just go right from the top, I'll cut it in half first, cut it directly in half. Now again, you've got a nice flat surface that you can lay it down on. You don't have a danger of it zipping off one side or the other where you're going to lose a finger when you're cutting the fruit. You got to cut that core out. So this is really just simple. You cut the core out. I used to leave the core in and just made myself work for it when I was eating pineapple, but I guess when the pineapple's big enough, you're going to have plenty of pineapple, even leftover pineapple. So again, now in order to make this into kind of bite-sized chunks, I'll cut the quarter into thirds, spin it around lengthwise, and I'll just go through and chop it so that we can have some nice bite-sized chunks. We'll do the same thing again, cut it into thirds, watch your fingers and your thumbs. So I have found this recipe uses 2 cups of pineapple, and I have found that about half of a big pineapple is usually about 2 cups, or maybe even a little bit more. So yep, coming in just a little bit over 2 cups, and there's your pineapple. So we're just going to set this aside so that we can cut it up later, and we'll have some snacks in the refrigerator for later.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to our other vegetables. And the pineapple has a lot of vitamin C, it's high in fiber, it's good for your digestion. So just know there's some great nutrients in there. And now we're going to do a red pepper, which I already cut up half of it before, so you want to cut it up in bite-sized chunks. And peppers are also high in vitamin C, they have a lot of fiber, they help eliminate the waste out of the colon, because all plant-based foods have 0 cholesterol. So just you can remember that one thing. They have 0 cholesterol and they have lots of fiber. Animal products have cholesterol and they have 0 fiber. So you want to eat as many plant-based foods to help decrease your risk for heart disease, cancer, diabetes, keeping the colon and the arteries clear, and the blood to your brain, the blood flow to your brain and your heart by keeping the cholesterol out of your diet. Okay, so we are going to move our red pepper over, and then we're going to, eventually at the end, we're going to garnish with a bunch of green onions, and this is 6 green onions. You want to save these towards the end because they can get mushy if you cook them with the meal. And let me just grab off if you have a little soggy end. All right, so I cut off the tops, and then you can just thinly slice them. I love green onions on vegetable fried rice. So this won't have any egg because it's vegan, and you can also add the crispy baked tofu, which is also on the Cookie and Kate blog, and it's also on one of my YouTubes, and I highly recommend adding the crispy baked tofu.
Yeah, we usually have the crispy baked tofu, but for tonight, since we've been eating a lot of heavier foods, we're taking a little break from the tofu to help with our digestion so things go a little more smoothly.
Yeah, I'm a huge tofu fan. We're just not using it tonight. Okay, so now we're going to get cooking, and we're going to start with a tablespoon of olive oil. First, I want to turn this on. I want to make sure I see it. Whoops. And get it hot, because you can really... You can keep it on high as long as you stay with your dish. Babysit the pan. Don't go in the other room and get on the computer. Okay, so we're going to just do a tablespoon of oil. We've reduced the oil from the recipe. Cut back a little bit on the fat. And then we're going to do a tablespoon of minced garlic. And you don't have to use minced. You can do 2 cloves. Okay, I get this at Kirkland organic brand from Costco. Excuse me, I'm dripping. So 1 teaspoon minced garlic is equal to 2 cloves. Yes, 1/2 teaspoon is 1 clove. All right, and then we're gonna add in our red pepper and our pineapple. Excuse me. And then we're going to really get this mixed together with the oil and garlic. And then we'll add 2 more seasonings. And that'll be it. This is actually a really simple recipe. The most time-consuming thing is just cutting that pineapple. But hopefully Wade's tips can help you cut back on time. All right, so now we're going to add some tamari. So tamari is basically a soy sauce that does not have gluten in it. And I use Simple Truth Organic. It's a Kroger brand. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of the tamari. Some people like Bragg's aminos. I really like this tamari.
If you were going to add the crispy tofu, you would want to do that right after you started the rice because it takes about 25 minutes to cook in the oven to get nice and crispy. So that's one of the first things you'd want to cook right along with the rice.
And then Wade's favorite, Cholula hot sauce. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon. So we did 2 tablespoons tamari, doing 1 tablespoon of the Cholula, which I hope isn't going to be too much.
No, Cholula is a little more mild than Tabasco, and I think there's the Sriracha also. Sriracha is pretty hot, so if you're using Sriracha to keep it chai, or to keep it Thai and Asian, then you probably want to use a little less. You just use the hot sauce to your taste.
So we're going to mix this all up, and then we're going to let it cook for 10 minutes. And the longer it cooks, the sweeter the pineapple gets. So again, you can keep the fire on high, but just stand by for about 10 minutes so you don't leave it, and let that combination of flavors with the pineapple and the peppers come together. Okay, so now our pineapple and peppers have been cooking for about 10 minutes. You can see that they look a little different, softer. They're going to be even more sweet. And now we're going to add in the brown rice we talked about in the beginning. And again, this is just 2 scoops of brown rice. All right, and we'll see all of it. All right, let's give that a good stir. Mash it all into the sauce. So the tamari, the Cholula, the garlic, a little olive oil. I'm going to get a bigger spoon and mush this up. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and add in our green onions. Again, this was about 6 green onions, and I did organic green onions. So you don't want to cook that with it because it can get too mushy. And the recipe calls to cook the cashews, chop the cashews and cook it in the dish, but we like to just garnish them with full whole cashews at the end. Let me give this a good stir. And you have to do a taste test. Maybe you want more Cholula or more tamari, and see what works best for you. See all those delicious flavors coming together for the Thai pineapple fried rice. We're actually going to Thailand next month, and we're very excited to eat our way through all the vegan Thai places. All right, but I'm very grateful to Cookie and Kate and her blog for this delicious recipe. Okay, now I'm going to dish them up, and we will garnish with some cashews. Alright, and you can also add the crispy baked tofu that's on the Cookie and Kate site again, or on my YouTube channel. Buy these organic whole cashews from Costco, Kirkland brand. Or you can chop them up and cook them in the dish like the recipe calls for. Add more sauces. We also love this Trader Joe's sweet chili sauce, and you can add a little of that to give it even more sweet and sour flavor. Alright. So thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed the YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you always for saving animals with your food choices, and have a great week.